afternoon, hello and welcome to Switch Focus, a special bulletin on the news making headlines globally, and my debut here on Switch TV as an anchor. Remember, you can watch your favorite program on the following platforms: Signet Zuku Channel 53 or Azam Channel 338. You can also catch our episodes on our website www.switchtv.ke, Switch TV News YouTube channel, or download our Switch TV app on Google Play or the App Store. I'm David Kagina and the sign language interpreter is Michael Maithia. On to a fast story, rights groups have decried a crackdown on homosexual and transgender people in Cameroon after two transgender people who were still in jail were arrested in February 8th in Douala, the country's economic capital. Their trial, which began on February 10th, is scheduled to resume on March 10th. Homosexual practice is prohibited in Cameroon, with the law providing for sentences ranging from 6 months to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to 370,300 euros. According to LGBT rights lawyer, police in Cameroon released 7 people arrested on suspicion of homosexuality on Thursday, but kept 2 others in custody. The statement was verified by an officer in the western town of Bafoussam, where the 9 were detained on Tuesday. WHO says they were arrested to verify whether they were homosexuals. The state funerals of Ambassador Luca Tanasio and police officer Vittorio Iacovaxai, killed in an attack in DR Congo, are held in Rome. Italy said Wednesday it has asked the United Nations to launch an investigation into the killing of its ambassador to the Democratic Republic of Congo. The envoy Luca Atanasio, 43 years of age, died on Monday after a World Food Programme convoy was ambushed in a dangerous part of the eastern DRC near the border with Rwanda. Atanasio's Italian bodyguard and a Congolese driver were also killed. 2 self-made South Korean billionaires have pledged in many weeks to give away half of their fortunes, a rarity in a country where business is dominated by family controlled by conglomerates and charity often begins and ends at home. Kim Bum-soo, the founder of the South Korea's biggest messaging app KakaoTalk, announced this month he will donate more than half of the estimated 9.6 billion assets to try to solve social issues. Shortly afterwards, Kim Bong-jin of food delivery app Woowa Brothers and his wife Bomi-sul became the first South Koreans to sign the Giving Pledge. The philanthropic initiative was set up by Bill and Melinda Gates alongside Warren Buffett for billionaires to give away at least half their wealth. Both Kims contrast with most of South Korea's ultra-wealthy, who are largely descendants of the founder of the Chaebol, the sprawling, usually family-run conglomerates that powered the country's post-war boom and dominated the economy. Cypriot musician Anastasia Demetriadou gives an interview after authorities deployed a water cannon in Nicosia on February 13th to break up a largely peaceful anti-government rally, leaving her in need of emergency surgery to save her left eye. Thousands of Cypriot protesters have staged large demonstrations in the past week, angered by months of lockdown, economic woes and a string of corruption scandals, as well as a rare police crackdown. Joy Maureen with more. Relatives of inmates demand answers outside a jail in Ecuador's western port city of Guayaquil, where they arrive with bags of food and supplies for their loved ones. The body count from simultaneous riots at 4 prisons in Ecuador rose to 79 Wednesday as family members arrived to calm the remains of their loved ones killed in hours of full gang warfare that left inmates decapitated and burnt. The extent of the violence, described as an unprecedented massacre by Ecuador's human rights ombudsman, exposed the power of the prison gangs and shocked the South American nation of 17 million people now looking for answers. The United Nations mission in Ecuador called for a prompt and impartial investigation and sanction for those responsible and a management of the crisis in accordance with the rules of the Constitution and international human rights instruments. It's 12 minutes past 4 o'clock, and that story right there brings us to a short commercial break. We have more in line for you, so don't go far. Welcome back, and for those joining us, this is Switch Focus with me, David Kagina, and my sign language interpreter is Michael Maithia. Now, North Korea used South Korean prisoners of war and their descendants through several generations as slaves labor in vast network of coal mines. This is according to a rights group which say tens of thousands of South Korean prisoners of war were never returned by Pyongyang after the 1950 to 1953 Korean War. Instead, they were assigned to toil at coal mines in slave-like conditions, with their children and grandchildren inheriting the brutal fate. According to the Seoul-based Citizens Alliance for North Korean Human Rights, North Korea's so-called Songbun system classified citizens according to their socio-political background, from the loyal core to the neutral and the hostile.
With President Trump and so on.
To the beat of tropical rhythms, elderly people in wheelchairs enthusiastically imitate instructors' movements as they want to receive COVID-19 vaccines in Mexico City's Xochimilco district as the country's immunization drive goes on. A new driverless electric bus has begun operating in the southern Spanish city of Malaga in a project presented as a first in Europe. The bus, which began running on Saturday, is equipped with sensors and cameras, links Malaga port to the city center on an 8-kilometer loop. It does 6 times a day. According to Rafael Daban Carmona, who heads the southern division of Spanish transport company Avanza, that leads the public-private consortium behind the project, the bus knows at all times where it's at, what is around it, and it can interact with traffic lights, which are also equipped with sensors that alert the bus when they turn red.
I'm feeling normal.
Nami Hamaura says she feels less lonely working from home thanks to her singing companion Charlie, one of new generation of cute and clever Japanese robots whose sales are booming in the pandemic. Smart home assistants such as Amazon's Alexa have found success worldwide, but tech firms in Japan are reporting huge demand for more human-like alternatives as people seek solace during coronavirus isolation. At the foot of the snow-capped Pyrenees, dozens of planes from all over the world meticulously line up like toys in a giant car park. Since the COVID-19 crisis, Tarmac Aerosave has been overwhelmed by airplanes' demands for storage.
My name is Harriet Chimea.
Thank you, Chimea. That story from France wraps up the bulletin. And as I wrap my sleeves to leave, I want to give you a massive appreciation for being my viewer on my debut bulletin. I'm David Kagina, and my sign language interpreter has been Michael Maithia. Thank you and good evening.